This is Jarrod Horak, and this is my latest Road to the 2024 Kentucky Derby video. And in this video, I'm going to analyze the Louisiana Derby. That race will be run Saturday, March 23rd, 2024. And if you're interested in reading my Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks reports, head on over to todaysracingdigest.com. When you get to the digest, on their front page, near the top left, you're going to see a Kentucky Derby tab. And if you click on that tab, it will take you over to the Digest Derby page, and that's where you can read all of my Derby and Oaks reports. I update the Oaks every Monday, and I update the Derby every Tuesday, and then I post some other Oaks and Derby related articles throughout the week. So head on over to todaysracingdigest.com on their Kentucky Derby page to read all of those reports. And if you're interested in one free complete digest from now through April, go over to todaysracingdigest.com on their complete digest page, and the complete digest tracks that they cover Oaklawn, Gulfstream, and Santa Anita Park. And if you use promo code DERBY5424, you can get one free complete digest from now through April. In the description in this video, I will provide the link to that complete digest page and that promo code. And now we'll get into the analysis of this video. I'm going to be doing the 12th race at the fairgrounds for Saturday, March 23rd, the Grade 2 $1 million Louisiana Derby for 3-year-olds traveling a mile and 3/16 on the main track. Scheduled post time is 6:42 p.m. Eastern, and they've been running the Louisiana Derby at this mile and 3/16 distance since 2020. They used to run this race at a mile and an eighth. Now, since it went out to a mile and 3/16, Wells Bayou in 2020 wired the field. Hot Rod Charlie dueled and won. Epicenter in 2022, he stalked and won the race. And then Kingsbarns last year, he went wire to wire. So it's been speed horses dominating since they changed the distance. And another thing to look at is Risen Star Stakes Day 2024. We have multiple horses coming out of the Risen Star Stakes and some that ran on the undercard that day. 12 dirt races were run in the slop that day. Only 2 horses went wire to wire. So it was not a speed favoring track on Risen Star Day. So overall, looking at the way that this race has played the last few years and the race shape this year, speed will probably do well because there doesn't seem to be a lot of early speed in this race. Now, Triple Espresso would be breaking from the inside post for trainer Todd Pletcher, but he's supposed to run in the Jeff Ruby Stakes. If they ended up deciding to go here, he's never run on the main track. All of his races were turf routes, and he's a closer. So the race shape would be playing against him, and we don't know how he would handle the main track. Hall of Fame is number 2 for trainer Steve Esmon. $1.4 million son of Gun Runner. He was second in his 7-furlong debut. And then second time out, he went on Lasix. He was 80 cents on the dollar, mile and a 16th at Fairgrounds on January 20th. He stalked the pace. He broke his maiden by 10 lengths. Then in his next start, the Grade 2 Risen Star Stakes in the slop on February 17th, he stalked from 5th. He moved up to 3rd at the 6-furlong mark, and then he weakened to finish 7th, beaten 8 lengths. Third start after a layoff, he would probably appreciate a fast track, and he'll probably be forwardly placed from an inner post. Antiquarian should be up on the pace for trainer Todd Pletcher. He's run 2 times in the maiden ranks. In his career debut, he was second after pressing the pace. So he pressed, he had a short lead. Conquest Warrior had a lot of trouble, and he overcame that trouble, and he graduated by a half length. And Conquest Warrior is a horse that's on my Kentucky Derby list. He has been for several weeks, and he's supposed to run in the Florida Derby next. Now, Conquest Warrior did win his next start after that maiden win at a mile and an eighth in the optional claiming ranks. And Antiquarian also won his next start, a maiden special weight race, a mile and a 16th in the slop at Fairgrounds on that Risen Star Stakes undercard. He pressed from second. He opened up a length and a half lead in the stretch, and he was able to graduate by a length over a next out winner. First start against winners, John Velasquez stays put, and he should be forwardly placed. Agot Road, another Todd Pletcher trainee, 6 career starts, 2 wins in 3 seconds. Most of his action has been on turf. He won the Grade 2 Pilgrim Stakes, mile and a 16th on turf at Aqueduct last year, rallying from off the pace. The Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, he was 5th, beaten 2 lengths. The Dania Beach Stakes, his first start this year, 1 mile on turf, slow early, fast late. He stalked those slow fractions. He could not run down to Cayo. He was clearly second best. They moved him to the main track and put him on the Kentucky Derby Trail in the Grade 3 Sam F. Davis Stakes at Tampa Bay Downs on February 10th. No More Time was all over the pace that day, and he had the better trip. Agot Road tried to rally from off the pace in that 12-horse field. He was 11th, 12 lengths back early, and he was able to finish second, beaten a length and a quarter. He was more than 5 lengths clear of the show finisher. Third start after a layoff, $650,000 Son of Quality Road with Irad Ortiz Jr. in the irons, and he's one that he's going to have to overcome a possible lack of pace, a bulky field, and he will try to get involved late. Catching Freedom, another closer, but he's not as deep of a closer as Agot Road. He's 4-1 morning line for trainer Brad Cox, a $575,000 Son of Constitution with Flavien Prat in the irons. He won his career debut as the favorite. That was a 1-mile race at Churchill Downs last fall. He was the favorite second time out, and he disappointed fourth in a 10-horse field. He won a Kentucky Derby points race, the Smarty Jones Stakes on January 1st at Oaklawn Park. 9-horse field, he rallied from 8th to win by more than 2 lengths. He was the favorite there. The Risen Star Stakes last time out. And that day, he sat back in 8th place, and he was able to get in contention in the stretch, and he ended up finishing 3rd, beating a length and 3/4. Sierra Leone, my top-ranked Kentucky Derby contender, won that one. Track Phantom set the pace, and he was second, and Chasing Freedom was a solid 3rd. Second start after a layoff. He's got enough positional speed to probably sit in mid-pack, and he'll try to pounce in the stretch. Awesome Ruta. This one is going to be a long shot in here. He's 30-1 morning line. He's 1 for 7 lifetime. That one win was at Louisiana Downs in a 6-furlong maiden race last year. And then last time out in the Risen Star Stakes, he was 223-1, 12-horse field, and he finished mid-pack 6th that day, beating more than 8 lengths. He performed better than anticipated last time, but he would really have to improve to threaten this group. He's just not fast enough on paper. Honor Marie. This one won the Grade 2 Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes last fall at Churchill Downs, a Kentucky Derby points race, going last to first and defeating Real Men Violin, who's also in this race. And then he was in the Risen Star Stakes in his first start this year. And in that race, he was just too far back, 11th, 10 lengths back early. He ended up finishing 5th, beating 6 lengths in that 12-horse field. Not a bad effort. Second start after a layoff. Doesn't have any speed. If you're playing the exotics, he can definitely be used. Next level, we'll have to see what kind of running style that they use in here, because in his maiden win at Fairgrounds at a mile and a 16th in November, he went wire to wire, and then he dueled with Track Phantom, and he finished 7th by 32 lengths in the Gunrunner Stakes. Track Phantom won that race, and then in an optional claiming race at Oaklawn, that was in January, he rallied from 8th place in an 11-horse field to finish 2nd, and then in the Rebel Stakes last time, a 12-horse field, he was 12th and last for the first 4 furlongs or so, and then he ended up finishing 8th, beating 13 lengths. So he used to be a speed horse. Now he's a closer. He's had mixed results as a speed horse and a closer, so we'll have to see what they end up doing in this spot. Real Men Violin, second in that Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes last year. I mentioned that. And then last time in that Risen Star Stakes, 8th, beating 12 lengths. But maybe it wasn't the slop. It was a wet track, but he did break his maiden in the slop at Churchill Downs. So I don't know that the track had anything to do with it. His lack of speed is a concern, but he's not a deep closer. He's one that can at least sit in mid-pack, but he's still eligible for an entry-level allowance race. Common Defense, he's just 1 for 4 lifetime with 2 runner-up finishes, so he hasn't run many races, and he's run well in 3 of 4. His career debut, he was second around 2 turns, and then he broke his maiden in a 1-mile race at Oaklawn, second time out, adding Lasix. Lost Lasix in the Southwest Stakes, that was in the mud, 5th, beaten 17 lengths. Bounced back in the Rebel Stakes last time. Post 3 in a 12-horse field, and he had a dream trip there. Saved all the ground, stalking the pace. He was only a length or so back after 4 furlongs and 6 furlongs. Cut the corner in the stretch, continued to save ground. Timberlake was just best that day. He was classier. He was the best horse. He was the favorite. He won by 2 lengths. Common Defense, clearly second best. But I think that trip had a lot to do with it. And now from post 10, he's going to have to work out a different trip. Tuscan Gold for Chad Brown. $600,000 Son of Medaglia d'Oro, and he's only run twice. He was 4th in his career debut. Sierra Leone, his stablemate, won that one. He won the Risen Star Stakes. He's your early Kentucky Derby favorite, and he's been my top-ranked Kentucky Derby contender since early February. Change of Command was second in that race in his debut, and he was a next-out winner, and Tuskin Gold was a next-out winner. And in his second career start at a mile and a 16th at Gulfstream on January 31st, he sat back in 5th in a 6-horse field, and he took the lead in the stretch, and he widened, and he won by more than 6 lengths. He had Lasix that day. He doesn't have it here. He's got a lot of upside. We just don't know where he fits from a class standpoint, and he could probably get this distance, and Tyler Gaffalione got to know him last time. Track Phantom rounds out the field. 6 starts, 3 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. 3 starts at Fairgrounds with 2 wins and a second. He really started getting good around 2 turns. He hit the board in his first 2 one-turn mile races at Churchill last October, and then they stretched him out to a mile and a 16th. In his next start, he was the favorite, and he graduated by more than 4 lengths. He was all over the pace. He was part of a wicked pace in the Gunrunner Stakes, and he put away his pace rival that day, and he was able to win easily and win by a length and a quarter, and that was over Snead, a closer, and then Nash was third there, and he defeated Nash again in the Lecomte Stakes when he got out there and controlled the pace. That was on January 20th. And then in the Risen Star Stakes from post 11 in that 12-horse field, he got clear early. He was still clear in the stretch, but Sierra Leone ran him down, and he missed by a half length. Clearly second best. Good effort. Joao Rosario stays put. He'd ridden him 3 times. 2 of those races he won, and then that last race he was a close second. $500,000 son of Quality Road. He should be all over the pace. He's probably going to be the pacemaker in here. So I talked about speed horses doing well since they moved this race to a mile and 3/16. And I also said that the Risen Star Stakes day was not a speed favoring track. So even though Track Phantom got loose, he was run down by a very good horse. So he's certainly going to be one that's going to be a contender from start to finish. Other horses that should impact the pace, Hall of Fame, number 2, the stablemate of Track Phantom. So they're not going to get in any kind of duel for sure. Then Antiquarian, he showed some decent tactical speed in his starts. But Hall of Fame and Antiquarian, neither of them set the pace in their first 2 races. The only horse that really likes to go out there and set the pace is Track Phantom, and I'm going to make him my top choice based on speed horses doing so well at this distance since they moved it to this mile and 3/16 distance in 2020. Just looking at the pace scenario of this race and the race shape, certainly looks like forwardly placed horses should do well. There's not many horses with early pressing speed. Track Phantom likes to go out there. He's the only confirmed front runner in here. And a fast track, I think if he can just get out there and control the pace, I think that he can go wire to wire in this race. So Track Phantom is going to be my top choice. Other horses worth considering, Tuskin Gold. Don't know how good he is for Chad Brown, but I think you can throw him in the mix, at least underneath. And some other horses for underneath purposes, Honor Marie. This one, a big late runner, and I think that he can be finishing. If you're playing trifectas and superfectas, a horse like Honor Marie could certainly do something. Catching Freedom, he was only a length and a quarter behind Track Phantom last time in a mile and an eighth. No reason why he can't at least run that well, or maybe a little bit better in this spot, probably sitting somewhere in mid-pack. So that's my look at the Louisiana Derby, and my top choice is Track Phantom. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this horse racing content. Keep checking my YouTube channel for all of these Oaks and Derby points races. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.